It's real fun. I mean, just letting gravity take you for a ride, going down the hill. And it's almost like another way to express yourself.
I was back home in Kansas City and my brother and some of his friends were out on the board and I jumped on it and I was hooked from there. I went out and bought one like 3 weeks later.
I've been longboarding probably about 5 years now. I think my favorite part about longboarding is being able to get from point A to point B and do it efficiently and look good while I do it, I think.
This subculture at K-State is hard to miss. Walking from class to class, it's impossible not to see a longboarder zipping by. But for the longest time, that's all they were, a single longboarder riding to class. Now, they have an official club on campus to connect with other riders and find places to ride.
I've been longboarding for about 2 years out here and I've seen more and more people out longboarding and someone threw out the idea of one day making a club for us. We were going to meet up around like 9 at night and people just kept creeping up and eventually we had about 19 people out and we just rode around campus.
I was really excited. I was thinking to be other people to skate with and I saw that there's already a big community, so I wish I would have started something when I first started longboarding.
For the most part, longboarding and its culture are new to Kansans, and with this new culture comes many misconceptions.
Pretty much the Midwest, I think, is just starting to come around to a longboard revolution, and there are starting to be what's called like slide jams and downhill races. So other towns like Omaha, Nebraska, even Lawrence, I think, has some events every once in a while. Basically, it's just a place for longboarders to get together and showcase their skills.
Before I really knew what longboarding was, I thought it was basically the same thing as skateboarding, you know, just the downer kids running around just trying to cause trouble or whatnot. But now that I've gotten here, I've realized it's more than that. It's like a whole subculture that just does it not only to get around, but to have fun.
Culture is definitely kind of similar to like the surf and snowboard culture, kind of laid back. But I mean, a lot of people also would think that you're kind of crazy because you're riding on 4 wheels with a piece of wood or whatever.
I've had complete strangers come up to me and tell me like that I'm an inspiration to them and things like that, which just cracks me up because I'm really not a fantastic longboarder. And then there's another crowd that will heckle you and say, do a trick, and like just, oh, there's the skater girl or whatever they want to call me, and it's fine. I mean, attention, good or bad, either way, at least I'm getting some female longboarder attention.
However, attention is not always a good thing for longboarders. Skaters have had a complicated relationship with law enforcement, and some say that that stigma isn't limited to just traditional skateboarders. Longboarders around Manhattan have had some conversations with local police officers about where they can and cannot ride.
The main time that we stop longboarders is when they're riding in the street, especially during high traffic times. It becomes a pretty big safety issue. Also, when they're going excessive amount of speeds down hills or something like that, we stop them and tell them that they need to be off the roadway. It's definitely on a case-by-case basis. Every longboarder I see, I do stop and say, hey, you need to be off the roadway. During the nice days when it's nice weather out, we can stop, 15, 20 in a shift easily sometimes.
So if longboarders can't ride on the roadway, where can they?
What they told me was that right now you can't longboard on the street at all, but the police officer also did say, well, it's up to the cop's discretion on whether they will give you a ticket. So if he kind of said if you're obeying the traffic laws and you're not impeding traffic, they will still let you longboard on the streets. It kind of just depends. So I think it'd be nice to have some more concrete laws saying this is what you can and can't do.
I was actually riding behind, Hale Library on my way home from a study session one night, and there was a couple of police officers there, and I rode by on the street, and one of them
followed after me and then said it was a $130 fine if he caught me doing it again. Earlier that day, I had rode by a police officer on campus and he waved at me. I was on the street, and so they're sending mixed signals. Clear-cut lines need to be made.
Campus regulations doesn't permit them riding on sidewalks. I believe it's between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. And then they can ride on the sidewalks. They can also ride on bike lanes on campus. And then in Manhattan, they have the same rules. They can ride on the sidewalks. They can't ride in the roadways. Longboards don't have a lot of the safety equipment that bikes have. They don't have brakes, they don't have lights, that kind of stuff, which is definitely needed to stop in quick situations, which with the longboard usually ends up with somebody bailing and a board getting run over or the board shooting off the side of the road or something.
I think that a lot of people out here at K-State don't want a longboard to hit them in the shin, and I totally agree with that. I wouldn't want to hurt anybody. If we could ride on the side of the street and obviously obey traffic laws like bicycles do, that would work out pretty well in my opinion.
When you're riding on the sidewalk, there are more obstacles in your way, and it's a lot easier to hit one of those obstacles, especially if they're living and they don't really know what to do. When you're on a street, you have more room to move and maneuver, and if there's a car coming in, you can easily go over into the other lane, or if you have to, the wheels are big enough that you can just pop up the curb onto the sidewalk.
Longboarders don't like being pushed to the sidewalks, but serious injuries are possible on the road.
It was just after winter, and I hadn't been able to longboard for a long time, so I decided to take it out to class, and the ground was still a little wet, and I was coming down real fast, and there was a car coming, and it anticipated that I was going one direction, and we decided to go the same direction, and it ended in me cracking my head pretty hard on the concrete, and I did split it open a little bit. I did go out and buy a helmet after that.
I was going down that hill by McCain, and a girl was walking out in front of me, and I was going pretty fast, and I had two options. I can either A, hit this girl and probably kill her, or I can just put my board into the curb and hope for the best. And I did that, and as I jumped off, I decided that I was going way too fast, faster than I had the ability to run. So I just dove for it and ate it on the concrete, and just my shoulders trash.
I was actually on my way to the library, of all places. There was already a guy on the crosswalk, and it already had the yellow flashy light and everything. So I started walking into the crosswalk, and then I jumped on the longboard second half of the crosswalk, and last thing I remember seeing is a white Volkswagen Bug, and then waking up in the hospital. I had 9 staples in the back of my head, and I had 4 stitches in my ear, and my spine was kind of twisted. Yeah, if I had a helmet, I probably definitely wouldn't have 9 staples in my head, that's for sure. And they do help a lot.
I have yet to see a longboarder wearing a helmet. It's not law that they have to wear helmets. We do see an increase in injury when somebody's not wearing safety equipment, because if they were to get in an accident, obviously you have the head trauma, plus the road rash that would come along with that.
Wiltz hasn't seen a lot of safety gear, which makes the aims of the longboarding club that much more important.
I'd like to see an image of us kind of be more community oriented, and people see us and they're not like, oh, like kind of look down on us. I always try to wear my helmet and stuff like that, or gloves, and I've had people stop me and say, hey, thanks for wearing your helmet, and it puts a good vibe out for people that see us.
The club believes that by promoting safety, they can help alleviate some of the negative images longboarders face.
Well, I believe we're definitely trying to get rid of those stereotypes. We're making safety a big issue, so we always try to wear helmets and stuff like that, and we're trying to go through big poppies down in Aggieville to get us helmets for safety.
Their mission to promote safety is something that will have a heavy impact on whether or not the club will continue to grow and have a place to ride on campus.
Our club president, Bryce, and our vice president, Max, went to the K-State police and talked to them and want to try and get some things going. I believe that the police are willing to cooperate with us, and I hope that stands true, because we want to promote safety and promote changes in the community that better benefit longboarding.
Our relationship is kind of up in the air. I know there's a lot of them that don't like us because we do enforce the law, but we would like to work with them and like to get along with them.
Right now it's kind of a touch and go sort of thing. I mean, each side understands that we're trying to work with each other, and we have to come out with some kind of a compromise in order for everybody to be able to have fun as well as be safe at the same time, which is by and large the main idea for both sides.
I want them to know that We're out there to longboard, have a good time, and also respect the safety of everyone around us and make sure that we don't hurt anyone or disobey the law.
Despite their apparent clashes, both the longboarding club and campus police are doing their best to work together.
An event that one of the guys and I talked about was basically shutting down Batier Street and Mid-Campus Street, so that way they could safely ride down a street and we don't have to worry about, them getting hit by cars or something like that. Talked about, then using our radar so they can do speed contests, that kind of stuff, working with them and making it a fun event.
The longboarding club at K-State continues to grow. Members are optimistic about the club's future.
We have a few kids that were really surprising to me, how much they wanted this group to work out and how much more time they put into it. A lot of the people that I've found that have joined the group are really into it, so it kind of makes me happy that I kind of started this and have people that want to come together with it.
Longboard is sense of belonging, I guess. Coming from a small town, I was really scared about coming into a big group of people, but now that I have a smaller group of people that I can connect with, it's a lot easier to get to know people through that. And the more people we can get involved in it, the better. We want it to be a social thing and want to teach people how to do it. We want to make the sport grow in Kansas. I'm just walking by, I see more and more longboarders just going, and it's great to see, and it makes you feel a little giddy inside.